Live from Los Angeles. Welcome back to Good Morning LaLa Land. I'm so excited to be honoring #Thought Thursday because Todd Savvis is in the house. He is an incredible contemporary mystic, sage, my spiritual teacher. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for the lovely introduction.
Oh,
Todd,
absolutely.
how are you? So
I'm
nice
good,
to
I'm
meet
good.
you.
So nice to meet you.
So we're
Thank you
trying
for
to
having me.
know, how did this all begin for you? Were you born with this, or was there awakening for you? Or tell us a little bit about your story.
So I was definitely born with it. A lot of people are, especially kids, but we're sort of programmed to basically shut it down. But I was lucky enough to have it persist. But then I sort of went into organized religion for a while. I was Pentecostal, but I was really ultimately drawn to more sort of mystical components of belief. So Buddhism, Taoism, shamanism, like all of these things. So my practice is basically mixing all of those things together. So I work with people from all types of religions, and because ultimately it's the same truth, we just like to drink it in different ways.
Yeah.
How did that gift show up for you first as a child?
It was usually like clairvoyance, so seeing stuff, but my primary gift is what we call claircognizance, which is clear knowing. So it's kind of like knowing memories that you don't really know, but you actually just know them. Yeah.
Wow, and how do those memories affect us?
I mean, it's
In
got
all
different ways,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I don't want to know. We'll save that one for off the camera.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. I know that you also work with breath work.
Yeah.
And in setting intentions, I think that's really important. So before we even go any further, I'd love to just do a little breathing exercise with you, if you wouldn't mind guiding us through that.
Yeah, so this is an exercise that I created called yin breath. So yin is everything internal, it's the feminine. And when we talk about anything spiritual, we're talking about cultivating our chi or our prana. And so yin breath, it basically forces our being to be aware only on breath. So it's super simple and easy to do. So everyone just close eyes and then uncross everything as well, because that shows the
Watch
universe.
the camera angle.
That shows the universe that we're open. So
Okay.
closing eyes.
Eyes closed.
Excellent. Now take one hand, place it on your heart, and one placing it on your stomach as well. So now you're going to follow the pattern of breathing that I'm going to describe. So take a big deep breath in through the nose. Exhaling out through mouth. And I really want to hear those breaths. Breathing in through mouth. Holding 2, 1, exhale nose. Breathing in mouth. Holding 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale nose. Inhale nose. Exhale mouth. Inhale mouth. Holding 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale mouth. And open eyes. How do you feel?
Like I'm in my power.
Nice.
A little bit more back.
Absolutely. Collected, present, poised. Thank you.
My pleasure.
For that.
And I love that because it is so simple and it doesn't take long to do it. And it also retrains the body how to breathe properly.
Is it that kind of breath work that allows us to tap more into their gifts like claircognizance, did you say?
Yeah, breath definitely helps with that, but breath is sort of like the fundamental building block of us being human. So that reminds us of our most basic state. It can definitely help with opening up to more spiritual gifts and everything like that, because everything when it comes to spiritual connection comes with us just slowing down so that we can actually hear what we're getting. Because most times, especially as you're talking about the internet today, all of those messages are stopping messages coming from the universe. So by us sort of unplugging from the notifications from our phone, we can start getting the notifications from the universe.
Thank God, because if that notification on Instagram was what the universe was telling me,
Trouble.
that could be trouble. But you have such an interesting take on really combining some ancient wisdom with like modern day savvy. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, I mean, there's no going back now. So we are where we are. Everything is becoming more modern. So we have to remember how to sort of tune into those old nuggets of wisdom, but make it in a way that people that don't know how to go way back to living in a cave can actually utilize it. So for me personally, my mission is to take all of those old things, and I love that old ritualistic sort of stuff, but not everyone does. And also the language of it can also push people away too. So my work is about taking all of those things and combining it in a way in which someone that doesn't have that sort of desire to know all of those old texts will respond to it and want to work with it.
That was kind of one of the missions of Good Morning LaLa, is just to bring in inspiration, truth, and kind of, we slide in the GM around here, some truth, a lot of truth. But so tell me, when you're working with a client, what does that look like? Because why, obviously people can read things, they can go to yoga classes, they can whatever. What would have them come to you individually? What kind of work do you do with them?
So a lot of my clients sort of describe it like seeing a psychologist who's a psychic. So everything, or the way in which I approach everything, is very cognitive. It's based on what do we want to improve? What do we want to make better? What's blocking you? And then how to deconstruct those things. So I work with elements, and it's like psychological archetypes. So it is very surrounding how you think and how to think differently. But then we also look into past life stuff and how that stuff is affecting you as well. And then we look at relationships, because everything is all interconnected. So my work is sort of helping you see the bigger picture. And so by tweaking this thing, we also tweak this and this and this and this.
It's so interesting that you mentioned the bigger picture, because I have this conversation with my girlfriends all the time, and a lot of us are in a state we don't want to admit of fear, but that we are going to alt the bigger picture because of something that's blocking us. Whether it's, our heart or our throat or our minds or our chakras, whatever it is, that somehow we are going to misdirect our fate because we're blocked. How do we clear that negative energy?
Well, I think the most important thing to remember is that fate is bigger and more powerful than our human issues. So you're always going to end up. You're always going to end up where you're meant to be. You might go around and around a little bit.
Yeah, that circling thing. Yeah,
GPS.
My GPS is always.
haywire.
Yeah, I always say it's recalculating. I've recalculated a couple times.
Missed out on some internet connections. So it's taking a moment.
Exactly.
And I mean, look, like that's part of why we're here. We're not here to be perfect in our experience. We're here with the desire to be challenged in so many different ways that are personally going to push us. So your soul has looked at every other lifetime you've had, and one lifetime you might have been a princess. So this lifetime you don't want to be a princess because you've already experienced that. So firstly, it's getting rid of the idea that if I'm going through something hard, I'm being punished, because you're not. In reality, you're probably getting the bigger gift than if everything was flowing perfectly. So shifting how we relate to complication. So instead of it being like, I'm not getting something, and then it creates angst and tension. So then we fight, as opposed to surrendering to the experience and to the challenge as well.
What about the people, though, including myself, who are afraid to surrender? It's almost like it's like stuck here. We had this conscious story on the other day, the hug that got stuck, and it's like it's stuck right here because I don't know really if I mean, I'm sure I'm capable of handling whatever it is, right? But it's stuck there. How do I unstuck?
How do you unstuck?
Yeah. How do we just release that? Because so many people are really afraid of that.
Absolutely. And that's one of the biggest disconnects for humans, is basically the reason why we don't surrender is because we don't trust. So what that's really highlighting is I don't trust that the spirit or God or whoever you connect with is ultimately looking out for me.
Oh, sorry about that. The universe is listening.
But in that moment of us recognizing that we're just not trusting, we're pushing the universe away, because we're basically saying to the universe, oh, no, I know what I'm doing. And the universe is like, you don't. Help. Let me help.
Yeah.
And so we really there is a very specific exercise surrounding surrender. We can do it now if you want. It takes 3 seconds.
Let's do it.
Okay, so closing eyes and place hands up in the air, because physiologically that means we're open and uncrossing legs. There we go. Okay, so now what I want you to do is say after me, Dear Spirit.
Dear Spirit.
I give up.
I give up.
I surrender.
I surrender.
Please help me.
Please help me.
Big deep breath in. And exhaling out. And open eyes. So the reason why we have to do those 3 steps is, firstly, Dear Spirit calls on something higher than us. So it sort of awakens that part of us that goes, there is something bigger than me.
Hey, wait. Hold on 1 second, though, because I know you know this truth, and I know it's semantics, but that's duality. Something bigger than me, isn't that who you truly, authentically are?
Correct, but you're in a human body in this moment. So your human being recognizes that you're not in spirit right now. So we have to speak to the human or animal part of us that recognizes that we're not all spirit in this moment. So basically, as we're on Earth, we're learning how to reconnect. But on that journey, we have to learn how to surrender. And so this process is recognizing that there is us up there, and we need to surrender to it.
Yeah. But I mean, just a debate, because it really is a debate. Because I think that I totally get it. And I know that it's semantics. But I do think it's something we have to get over. Even the universe, that's you. That's who we're all of it. And we may be experiencing being inspired, but we're connected right now to all of it. So, you know what I
Absolutely.
mean? I just think it's a fun kind of debate around it, because I think that there's semantics that are fine, but at the same time, it's not the truth, right? So,
Well,
Well-
truth is also perspective. And so in this moment when someone, it's like we're looking at the moment that people are in. So when people are feeling tense and angst and not surrendering, they're not in their highest element. So we have to use these tools to reconnect us to our higher element. And, you know, that's the thing. There are so many tools in the world, we may as well use as many until we find the one that works with resonating, sort of awakening or releasing whatever we're experiencing.
A real quick question. I know we're running out of time, so I'll try to keep it brief. But I think one of the greatest challenges that people have, I know that I certainly had, was surrendering to something that I didn't trust. And developing that trust alone was the entire game for me. And you know, when I looked at my life, I thought, well, most of my life I've been doing my best and it's still not working out, and I'm being tested and I'm being challenged. And I was like, I'm not even sure I want to surrender to something bigger than me, or that's attached to me or part of me that I'm one with, that is going to test me. I'd rather take the easy path. Like, I want the path where I get the money. I want the path where I get the girl. So how do you help people through that piece? Because I think it's, you know, it's that trust piece that's sort of the heart of a spiritual path.
Absolutely. See, so the difference between religion and spirituality is religion is a process that's being taught to you. Spirituality is your own personal journey to reconnect with whatever you connect with. So you could have those sort of interlapping, or sort of overlapping, but I think coming back to that, like, it's your personal relationship. So of course you're not going to trust some big energy if you don't have a relationship with it. So it's more so about deepening how you relate to it and understanding in each and every day, you're getting messages and you're having your sort of up there connection play and interact with you, but you have to sort of engage back with it, and then that therefore creates trust. With any relationship, you meet a new person, it's going to take a while before you trust them. So similarly, the sort of spiritual process is to then develop that relationship with the spirit.
Interesting.
And then you'll trust them.
And Erin doesn't even have a relationship because she just is the spirit. She's on a whole different level than
and
me.
all personalities and everything else. Yep. No, it's so great. We love this conversation. And,
Absolutely, it's
so fun.
it's a real conversation.
Absolutely. So how can people follow you and seek your guidance?
So every day on social media at Todd Savvis, I post a card of the day. So I've made my own deck of cards, and basically it's a way for people to tune in each and every day to whatever energy the universe wants you to experience, because we do share a common collective experience because it's like a wave and we're all riding it in different ways. And that's the easiest way to sort of learn about what I do and, you know, get a little bit of guidance every day.
Cool.
So appreciate you. Thanks
Yeah.
for sharing your
Great
wisdom.
work.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you for
Thank
sharing
for
your
having me.
time and light with us. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more on Good Morning La La Land.